If you're over 60 and lately you've felt more forgetful, foggy, or like your mind just isn't as sharp as it used to be, you're not alone. But what if the cause isn't just aging? What if it's sitting quietly inside your medicine cabinet right now? Here's a staggering fact. According to the Alzheimer's Association, every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops dementia. That means by the time you finish watching this video, 20 new families will be facing one of the hardest diagnoses imaginable. But new research from leading institutions like Harvard Medical School and the Mayo Clinic is uncovering something both alarming and empowering: that in many cases, cognitive decline isn't inevitable, it's preventable. See, while most people think memory loss happens because of age, genetics, or stress, recent evidence points to another hidden culprit: certain medications that interfere with the brain's chemistry. These aren't rare or experimental drugs. They're the ones millions of seniors take every day for sleep, allergies, heartburn, or anxiety. The same pills that bring short-term relief could, over time, be silencing the very chemicals your brain needs to think clearly, recall names, and stay emotionally balanced. In fact, researchers at Johns Hopkins University recently confirmed that some common medications can reduce activity in the brain's memory centers by nearly 30% in under a year. And here's the part that's most concerning. Over 90% of older adults take at least one of these drugs regularly, often without realizing the risk. So in this video, we're going to expose the 9 most dangerous medications linked to memory loss and dementia, ranked from commonly ignored to most mind-damaging. But we'll do more than just name them. You'll also learn which safer alternatives doctors now recommend, how to talk to your physician about reviewing your prescriptions, and how small nutrition and lifestyle shifts, like boosting your B vitamins, staying hydrated, and improving your sleep rhythm, can actually help the brain heal and rebuild connections. Because here's the truth: your brain is far more resilient than you think. Even if you've been on some of these drugs for years, clarity can often return once the underlying cause is addressed. So stay with me to the end, because this isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. You deserve to know what's affecting your mind and how to protect it for the years ahead. Now let's start at number 9. It's a small pink pill found in almost every American home, one that millions rely on to sleep better or soothe allergies. But what it does to your brain overnight might shock you. Number 9, diphenhydramine, known by its brand name, Benadryl. Most of us know Benadryl as that nighttime or PM allergy pill, something to help with congestion or sleepless nights. It's inexpensive, over-the-counter, and feels harmless. But here's what most people don't know. Benadryl belongs to a class of drugs called anticholinergics. Anticholinergics work by blocking a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which is essential for learning, focus, and forming new memories. Your brain relies heavily on this chemical, and as we age, our acetylcholine levels naturally decline. So when a medication interferes with it, the impact can be profound. According to a 2023 study in the Journal of Geriatric Cognitive Health, seniors who regularly used anticholinergic medications had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who didn't. Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic have seen this firsthand. Older adults who take PM pain relievers, cold meds, or sleep aids containing diphenhydramine often report fogginess, slower thinking, and even personality changes. These aren't random aging effects, they're chemical. So, what can you do instead? Here's what the Mayo Clinic now advises. Check your labels. Anything that says PM, nighttime, or allergy relief often contains diphenhydramine. Switch to safer options. For allergies, try loratadine, Claritin, or cetirizine, Zyrtec. Both are newer antihistamines that don't cross the blood-brain barrier as easily. For sleep, focus on your natural rhythm. Dim lights 2 hours before bed. take a short evening walk, and avoid screens. Even 300 micrograms of melatonin can help, according to research from Harvard's Division of Sleep Medicine. Your brain doesn't need a sedative to rest. It needs consistency. Now, if diphenhydramine is hiding in your medicine cabinet, the next medication might be sitting right beside it. And it doesn't affect your brain through sedation, but through nutrient depletion that starves your neurons of vital fuel. Proton pump inhibitors, also known as PPIs, like Prilosec or Nexium. If you've ever taken something for heartburn, acid reflux, or GERD, you've likely used a PPI. They work by reducing stomach acid, and for short-term relief, they can feel miraculous. But here's what most people don't realize, that same acid is essential for absorbing nutrients like vitamin B12, magnesium, and calcium, all of which your brain depends on to stay sharp. A large Harvard study published in JAMA Neurology tracked over 73,000 adults aged 75 and older. Those who used PPIs regularly had a 44% higher risk of developing dementia than those who didn't. Why? Because without enough stomach acid, your body can't properly extract B12 from food. And low B12 doesn't just make you tired. It can cause depression, brain fog, and even irreversible nerve damage if left unchecked. The NIH also warns that long-term PPI use may increase levels of amyloid beta, a sticky protein that forms plaques in the brain, one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. So what should you do instead? Ask your doctor about tapering off with the help of an H2 blocker, like famotidine, Pepcid. It's gentler on nutrient absorption. Try eating smaller meals, avoiding food within 3 hours of bedtime, and propping your head slightly when you sleep. And consider adding deglycyrrhizated licorice, DGL, or aloe vera juice, natural remedies shown to soothe the stomach lining without blocking acid production. In other words, instead of suppressing your digestive system, help it heal. Heartburn relief shouldn't come at the cost of your memory. Now, let's move on to a medication many seniors take to avoid embarrassment or discomfort, one that helps with bladder control, but quietly robs the brain of its alertness. Number 7. Bladder control medications, such as oxybutynin, Ditropan. If you've ever had to plan your day around bathroom breaks or wake up multiple times at night, you know how disruptive bladder issues can be. So when your doctor prescribes something like Ditropan, it feels like a blessing. But here's the hidden cost. Oxybutynin is one of the strongest anticholinergic drugs in existence. Just like Benadryl, it blocks acetylcholine, but it also easily crosses the blood-brain barrier, directly affecting the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for learning and memory. A 2019 study in the BMJ found that seniors who took strong bladder medications like oxybutynin for more than a year had a 49% higher risk of developing dementia. The tragedy is most people are never warned. They simply notice gradual fogginess, forgetfulness, or emotional dullness and assume it's just aging. But here's the hope. Safer options exist. Mirabegron, Mirbatriq, works through a completely different mechanism, relaxing the bladder without blocking acetylcholine. And lifestyle measures, like pelvic floor exercises, avoiding caffeine after noon, and keeping hydrated, yes, drinking more water can actually help, have been shown by Cleveland Clinic urologists to significantly reduce symptoms naturally. Your mind and bladder can both stay strong. You just need the right approach. And next, we'll move to one of the most prescribed medications in America, one that's supposed to protect your heart, but may be quietly starving your brain. Number 6. Statins, the cholesterol-lowering drugs like Lipitor and Zocor. If you're over 60, chances are your doctor has mentioned statins at least once. They're prescribed to millions of Americans to lower cholesterol and reduce heart attack risk. And while they can be life-saving for some, the story isn't as simple as it seems. Here's what few people are told. Cholesterol isn't the enemy of your brain. It's a building block. Nearly 60% of your brain's structure is made of fat, and cholesterol plays a key role in insulating your nerve fibers and maintaining healthy communication between brain cells. When statins lower cholesterol too aggressively, they can also reduce the brain's access to these essential fats, potentially impairing memory and focus. A 2023 study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that seniors over 70 who had been on statins for more than 3 years were 26% more likely to experience mild cognitive impairment, especially at high doses. And some patients described episodes of blank moments, when familiar names, routes, or words would vanish from memory. Now it's important to be clear. Statins can save lives for those at high risk of cardiovascular disease. The goal isn't fear, but balance. Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic and Harvard Health Publishing recommend asking your physician 3 key questions. Do I still need to be on this medication? Could a lower dose or different statin work just as well? Are my memory issues being tracked as part of my care? Not all statins are equal. For example, pravastatin and rosuvastatin, Crestor, don't cross the blood-brain barrier as easily, making them less likely to interfere with memory. And beyond pills, there are natural ways to balance cholesterol. Mediterranean-style diet, rich in olive oil, nuts, fatty fish, and vegetables. Daily movement, even 20 minutes of brisk walking or light dancing can raise HDL, good cholesterol. Stress management, chronic stress raises LDL, or bad cholesterol, so mindfulness or gratitude journaling isn't just for peace of mind, it's heart medicine too. Your brain and your heart are teammates, not opponents. Keeping both healthy means taking a full-body approach, not just lowering numbers on a lab test. Now let's move to something far more common. Medications prescribed for anxiety and sleep that seem harmless at first, but can quietly dull your mental edge. Number 5. Benzodiazepines, drugs like Xanax, Valium, and Ativan. Benzodiazepines, or benzos, are often given to help calm anxiety, panic attacks, or insomnia. They work by boosting a calming brain chemical called GABA, which temporarily quiets overactivity. At first, they feel like a lifesaver. Your thoughts slow down, you finally sleep, and stress melts away. But here's the catch. Over time, benzos change the brain's natural chemistry. They make it harder for your neurons to fire, learn, and adapt. A 2022 study in the BMJ followed over 8,000 seniors and found that those who used benzodiazepines for more than 3 months had a 51% higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. The longer the use, the greater the risk, particularly with long-acting drugs like diazepam, Valium, that linger in the body and accumulate in fatty tissues, including the brain. That's why many older adults describe feeling foggy, not themselves, or emotionally flat after long-term use. And when they try to stop, withdrawal symptoms, anxiety, tremors, or insomnia can make it feel impossible. But it is possible, with care and guidance. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic recommend tapering off slowly under medical supervision, never quitting cold turkey. Alternatives like buspirone, a non-sedating anxiety medication, or cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, have been shown to restore calm without damaging memory. And if sleep is the main issue, simple rituals, like keeping a consistent bedtime, avoiding caffeine after noon, or using a weighted blanket, can help your body produce melatonin naturally. Remember, your brain's calm doesn't have to come from a pill. It can come from restoring balance to your own chemistry. Now, let's talk about a medication that's often prescribed to treat depression or nerve pain, but carries one of the strongest anticholinergic effects of any drug still in use. Number 4, amitriptyline, also known as Elavil. Amitriptyline is an older antidepressant still prescribed today for depression, insomnia, and even chronic pain. But here's the problem. It's one of the most potent brain blockers when it comes to acetylcholine. In a large 2015 study in JAMA Internal Medicine involving over 3,400 adults aged 65 and older, those who took higher cumulative doses of drugs, like amitriptyline, had a 54% greater chance of developing dementia over 10 years. This isn't a mild side effect. It's a slow erosion of brain clarity that often goes unnoticed. People start forgetting words, appointments, or simple routines and assume it's just old age. But in reality, it's a chemical interference. Fortunately, newer and safer alternatives exist. For nerve pain, duloxetine, Cymbalta, or gabapentin, Neurontin, can help without heavily blocking acetylcholine. For depression, sertraline, Zoloft, or escitalopram, Lexapro, are considered safer for older adults. And for sleep, melatonin or low-dose doxepin, under 6 milligrams, are gentler options supported by the American Geriatric Society. Alongside medication adjustments, small lifestyle shifts can help your brain heal naturally. Stay socially active. Regular conversation strengthens neural pathways. Eat foods high in choline, like eggs, salmon, and broccoli. Practice 5 minutes of mindful breathing twice a day. Oxygen flow directly supports brain function. Your memory isn't just a collection of neurons. It's a living network that thrives on movement, conversation, and nourishment. And next, we'll look at a drug prescribed to millions for something as common as anxiety or low mood, but one that neurologists say may be secretly aging the brain faster than any of its modern alternatives. Number 3. Paroxetine, brand name Paxil. Paroxetine is one of the most widely prescribed antidepressants in America. It's part of the SSRI family, drugs designed to boost serotonin levels and stabilize mood. But here's the catch. Paroxetine is the only SSRI that also has strong anticholinergic effects, the same type of brain-blocking mechanism found in older, riskier drugs. That means while it may help with mood, it can simultaneously disrupt memory and concentration. A 2021 review in Frontiers in Psychiatry compared various SSRIs and found that paroxetine users showed measurable declines in short-term memory and verbal recall within just 12 months. Seniors on Paxil were 30% more likely to develop cognitive impairment compared to those on other antidepressants. The American Geriatric Society now lists paroxetine on its official Beers criteria, a list of medications considered potentially inappropriate for older adults. If you're taking Paxil, don't panic, but do have a conversation with your doctor. Safer options like sertraline, Zoloft, or escitalopram, Lexapro, can often deliver the same emotional balance without fogging your memory. And to support mood naturally, get sunlight exposure for at least 15 minutes each morning. It helps regulate serotonin and melatonin. Add omega-3 fatty acids from salmon, sardines, or flaxseed oil, essential for both heart and brain health. Stay socially engaged. Harvard's long-term aging study found that connection, not wealth or success, was the single biggest predictor of happiness and cognitive longevity. Sometimes the best antidepressant isn't found in a bottle. It's found in movement, laughter, and light. Next, we'll look at a class of medications that were never meant for older adults, yet are often prescribed in hospitals and nursing homes for behavioral issues. These drugs were originally designed for schizophrenia, but they're now being given to seniors simply for agitation or restlessness, with devastating results. Part 3. Main content continued. Number 2. Antipsychotics, drugs like Risperdal, Seroquel, and Zyprexa. These drugs were developed for serious mental health conditions like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. But over the last 2 decades, they've been increasingly prescribed off-label, meaning for uses not officially approved, to older adults experiencing anxiety, agitation, or dementia-related behaviors. On the surface, they seem to help. Someone who's restless or confused becomes calmer, less irritable, and easier to manage. But beneath that calm is something far more concerning. Antipsychotics work by blocking dopamine receptors, the same receptors your brain relies on for motivation, movement, and reward. When those receptors are silenced, not only can mood flatten, but thinking, speech, and even walking can slow dramatically. A 2020 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with dementia who were prescribed antipsychotics were nearly twice as likely to die within 1 year compared to those who weren't. The risks weren't just from sedation, but from heart rhythm disturbances, strokes, and falls. Even low doses, especially of drugs like olanzapine, Zyprexa, or quetiapine, Seroquel, have been linked to accelerated brain shrinkage in long-term MRI studies. The FDA now requires a black box warning, the most serious type of drug warning, for all antipsychotics, stating they increase mortality in elderly patients with dementia. If you or a loved one are taking these medications, don't stop suddenly. That can be dangerous. But do talk to your doctor about safer alternatives. For agitation, music therapy, touch therapy, and routine-based care have shown powerful calming effects without medication. For sleep or anxiety, low-dose trazodone or melatonin can be gentler on the brain. And for dementia-related behaviors, simple environmental adjustments, like consistent lighting and quiet routines, often help more than drugs. The brain doesn't need to be silenced. It needs to be understood. Now we've reached number 1, the medication most strongly tied to memory loss in adults over 60. Number 1, over-the-counter sleep aids and allergy pills. Drugs containing diphenhydramine, Benadryl. It's one of the most common ingredients in America's medicine cabinets, found in everything from Tylenol PM to Advil PM, Unisom, and dozens of nighttime cold medicines. Diphenhydramine is an antihistamine that helps you fall asleep by blocking histamine, the chemical that keeps you alert. But it also blocks acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter essential for learning and memory. Here's the startling truth. A 2019 study from the University of Washington found that adults over 65 who took strong anticholinergic medications like diphenhydramine daily for 3 years had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia, even if they stopped later. That's because these chemicals can linger in brain tissue, disrupting signal transmission and reducing the brain's ability to form new memories. The effects can begin subtly. A bit of forgetfulness, slower reaction times, or morning grogginess. But over time, chronic use can lead to long-term cognitive decline that's often misdiagnosed as early dementia. The good news? The moment you stop using these sleep aids, your brain begins to recover. Within weeks, many seniors report clearer thinking, sharper focus, and better energy during the day. Safer, non-sedating alternatives include cetirizine, Zyrtec, or loratadine, Claritin, for allergies, magnesium glycinate, melatonin, or valerian root tea for natural sleep support. And simple sleep hygiene habits, keeping the bedroom cool and dark, avoiding screens an hour before bed, and following the same sleep-wake time daily. Your brain thrives on rhythm, not chemical sedation. Final section. Protecting your memory after 60. So let's recap the top 7 medications most linked to memory loss. After 60, diphenhydramine, Benadryl, common in sleep aids and allergy pills. Antipsychotics, Risperdal, Seroquel, Zyprexa, risky when used for agitation in older adults. Paroxetine, Paxil, the only SSRI with strong anticholinergic effects. Amitriptyline, Elavil, old antidepressant with heavy cognitive side effects. Benzodiazepines, Xanax, Valium, Ativan, linked to dependency and dementia risk. Statins, Lipitor, Zocor, may impair memory if cholesterol is lowered too much. Anticholinergics, Detrol, Benztropine, block brain communication signals. Here's how to defend your memory naturally after 60. 1. Review your medication list with your doctor or pharmacist once a year, especially anything labeled PM or for sleep. 2. Eat brain-fueling foods, fatty fish, eggs, berries, olive oil, and leafy greens. 3. Move daily. Even 15 minutes of walking improves blood flow and neuroplasticity. 4. Stay social and mentally active. Puzzles, new hobbies, and real conversation strengthen neural networks. 5. Prioritize sleep naturally. Quality sleep is when the brain clears toxins linked to Alzheimer's. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to share it with your loved ones, because sometimes the biggest threat to our memory isn't aging itself, but what's inside our medicine cabinet. Your brain is your story. Protect it. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.